So, not to keep beating a dead horse, which in Marathon's case might actually be an apt phrase.
Nice execution.
You're doing terrific.
But I've been talking a lot about Marathon these last couple weeks because I care about Bungie's history. I personally don't really care for the extraction shooter genre, and I certainly don't care for Destiny or what Bungie's been doing over the last few years. But I care about Bungie's history, and as one of the many people who was basically raised on Bungie games in the early years of my gaming career, I like keeping an eye on what they're doing, and I want them to succeed, because it doesn't make me happy to see this company that made such important games for my life just fall apart and catch on fire. It's the same way I feel about Epic Games. It's so depressing to me to see this company completely fall apart and become the worst parts of all of AAA gaming after all of the great memories they gave me when I was younger with games like Gears of War. I don't want Bungie to completely fall apart, but that seems to be what's happening, and given my history with Bungie, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on them. And that being said, more information has come out about Marathon, the playtest Steam charts have been made public, and there's just quite a bit to talk about here, because I made a video not too long ago, I think it was just a few days ago at this point, where I said that I'm done beating around the bush and I'm officially calling Concord. Did you hear what I did there? I called it Concord. But like when I first started talking about Marathon, I was at least a little hesitant to say Marathon is going to be Concord. I was worried about it being Concord, but I was a little hesitant to say yes, it 100% will be Concord. In the last video, I said yes, 100% this will be Concord. And after the playtest this last weekend, like wow. Let's just go over these numbers. So the Marathon closed alpha test peaked at a whopping 6,700 people, which for a closed alpha test, that really isn't that bad. I saw some people saying that 6,700 is just that's a terrible number, which, you know, if this was a full release or full open beta, you'd have an argument to make there, but for a closed alpha test, 6,700 people at the peak, okay, you know, if you can keep numbers around there, or maybe a steady incline around there, I think we can live with 6,700, but oh my goodness, that's not what happened, because after that 6,700 peak, the game's numbers almost immediately tanked. We're talking less than 2,000 people playing this game on average, and that's not because they closed the servers, that's not because they closed, like, they put a cap on how many people could be in there, because the peak is up at 6,700. This isn't a case of 6,700 people got in, and then the numbers had to keep going lower for server stability. No, this is a case of 6,700 people playing the game, being like, I not interested in that, and leaving. You couldn't even keep people's attention with the closed alpha test. Bungie, what are you doing? You couldn't even hold people's attention for more than a couple hours. And that got me thinking of, like, what were Concord's Steam numbers? What kind of numbers was Concord putting up? Full release, granted, but this is what Steam charts say about Concord. I want to know where this one person is. Like, genuinely, I want to know where they are so I can, like, give them a ham or something. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You logged into Concord. Well, first of all, you never uninstalled Concord, and then you logged into Concord on a Sunday night, and at the end of April? Buddy, what were you looking for? And then that just distracted me, so I completely lost what point I was going to make with the Concord Steam chart, so I'm just going to move on. But anyways, these Steam charts for Marathon's closed alpha test should be extremely concerning for Bungie. Because the general consensus for this game seems to be that everything works as intended, and that's the problem. The intended design and the intended experience of this game is just not something people care about. And it also seems that as time goes on and more people have put some more time into the game, that the solo experience for this game is seemingly just awful. Which, you know, if that's how you want people to play the game, that's how you want people to play the game. If this just isn't a game intended for solo play, then that's fine. That's your design decision. But with numbers this bad, and pre-release hype this non-existent, alienating the solo players is not really the greatest way to right the ship, if you can see what I'm saying here. And even though the Steam charts for Concord and Marathon don't look super alike to one another, at least not in the, like, a one-to-one sense, there are some similarities here in the way these games are being handled pre-release. Remember before the Concord beta that originally you were going to have to pre-order the game in order to get access to the beta? And then Sony was like, oh shit, better drop that requirement so people actually play the beta. A similar thing happened with Marathon. There was an NDA around the playtest, and then, right before the playtest, Bungie drops the NDA, probably because they need any and all publicity they can get. And I saw some people trying to blame this on the Oblivion shadow drop, saying that like, oh, you know, no one cared about the marathon playtest because of the Oblivion shadow drop. Oblivion just took all the spotlight from what people would be giving the spotlight to, which would have been marathon. But I don't believe that for a second. Are you kidding me? A single-player RPG is taking the spotlight away from the multiplayer extraction shooter playtest? Is that really the narrative we're going with right now? Also, if that really were the case, Oblivion dropped on April 22nd. Look at this. Look at this. You see where April 22nd is? It's back there. This clearly was not a case of something else taking the spotlight away from Marathon. This was blatantly a case of Marathon not being able to get people's attention, and even the people's whose attention that it did get, it wasn't able to hold their attention. That is a problem. And I think this is just a fundamental issue with the extraction shooter genre as a whole. I understand these games aren't for me. That's totally fine. There's people who are really into extraction shooters, and I get it, you know, some genres aren't for me. But if you're trying to make a big mainstream appealing genre, a big mainstream appealing multiplayer game, why would you pick such a hardcore niche genre? Why would you do that? There is so much writing on Marathon. Do you have any flippin' idea how much money Sony paid for this studio? Do you have any flippin' idea how much money there is being poured into this studio and what games they are making? Do you have any idea what kind of repercussions are at the end of this for Bungie as a studio? Because they put all of their eggs into the extraction shooter basket. And again, the extraction shooter, there's nothing inherently wrong with the extraction shooter genre, but this is not a genre that is easily marketable to everyone like a PvP, like a standard team-based PvP shooter, like a battle royale game, like a traditional looter shooter. The extraction shooter genre is inherently kind of hardcore. That's just the nature of the game. And I just don't understand this push to make standalone extraction shooters into a thing. Why are we not making pushes to put extraction shooter modes into looter shooters? That's what I don't understand here. Marathon could have just been like a mode spin-off of Destiny. Imagine you're playing Destiny. It's all about loot. It's all about getting nice, top tier loot and nice fancy rare guns. And imagine then you can take those fancy rare guns into the extraction mode where you can basically gamble your guns. You can run in there with your nice guns, use them to get an advantage to get some loot and get out of there, but also you're risking someone else killing you and taking that high tier gun, at which point you'd have to go grind the base game again to win another high tier gun. Why is this not how the extraction shooter genre is being used in the mainstream AAA sphere? If you're trying to make standalone extraction shooters, it's just not going to work. The extraction shooter base already has the games they like because the games they like were not trying to appeal to massive shareholders. That's the problem. There is an inherent issue with putting a whole bunch of AAA money and AAA focus grouping into a genre that cannot exist in that way because it is a genre that is inherently hardcore and dependent on their communities and the passion of their communities, the feedback of their communities. You cannot have something like that when the budgets are so high and the focus groups are so focus grouped and the decisions are so corporate. You literally cannot have these things at the same time. So why are we not taking games like Destiny and Borderlands and The Division and just putting extraction modes in those games where you grind the game? The whole point of the game is looting and shooting and getting better loot, getting better guns. Take those better guns into the extraction mode and just put some guns on the line to get some really high tier loot. If you're a new player, you can risk going like with all your low level gear, going into the extraction zone, killing a high level player, taking their gun, taking that high level gun into the base game. Why is this not how the extraction shooter genre is being utilized in the AAA sphere? And then you can leave this solo extraction experience, like games like Tarkov and Hunt, where the extraction is the core gameplay loop. You can leave that for the hardcore audience. You cannot take a hardcore genre and stretch it into a big gigantic AAA game. That does not work. And I'm kind of worried about Bungie. There's no way Bungie survives in the way that they are after this game comes out. That's just not going to happen. I think the only way that Marathon can be saved at this point is if there is a hefty delay and a hefty bringing back to the drawing board. The solo experience needs to be reworked. There needs to be much more of an actual story, much more of an actual, like, plot progression going on here. There needs to be more here for the asking price and for the intended audience. I'm not saying that extraction shooters need more than the extraction gameplay, because obviously games like Tarkov and Hunt Showdown don't. But a game like Marathon is very clearly not trying to appeal to the same people as those games are, so you need to give more than those games do. I just don't see how they turn this around without a hefty delay. And at this point, I don't think Sony's willing to do that. If Sony's the one cashing the checks here, I don't think they're willing to put more money and more of a delay into more live service games. I just don't think that's going to happen. So, I'm going to do the Doofus Club now, and we can keep revisiting Marathon as more news comes out. You guys seem to like listening to me rant about this corpse of a company that I used to really respect. And maybe we can just all go play Halo Reach together and reminisce about what has been and what never will be again, except for in the Master Chief Collection. Okay, let's just start this. Hero Culture, Harmon Smith loves Joe's big black Steam Deck. English motherfucker, do you speak it? AKA Big Tech, Tom from Spokane, Dial Up, Kyle Ward 789, Sense Nakage, Non Voila, Hey It's Maddie, Master Killer, Jamba, Dom Bob, De Fuck You, Joe Taylor 4S56, Toe I 67. The Return of the King, please translate the Japanese name you can't read. Okay, fine, I'll do that when I get there. Partial Mean 8, Wild Gamer 3001, Nick, Molthane, Binary Deviant, Volxelda, Cloaked Onyx, Ed Omega, JJ Dusty, Hail de Nouveau, Cod Pod, Cub Pub, Cod Stop It, Fuck, Codman 4372, WX, Joe It's the Gamer 12Y7, not 127WT, Why Get It, Memorize, oh my god, I'm a mess right now. Death Rider Raven, Joe lied to me, he never enjoyed voice chat, Cellar Rock, Gold Pyrock, Zombie Fan, Alderoth 01, Penguin Piss, Doug Nigsy Smile, Blast 1314, Devastator 2000, Edge Knight 1789, Joe please let us touch tip you sexy man, Sad you freighter, MK2396E, I'm still in the moat, Joe go get help please, I'm not going to do that, you've been in the moat for a really long time, just fucking swim. Get up and swim. You got yourself in. You can swim your way out. Henthai X Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Epion 504, Klepto Penguin, Banshee, GWXSS, Doom Kaiju, Rast the Wolf, Evan Co, OK Toodles, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Relaser, Gaming with Dead People, All Games Video. Okay, here's the Japanese name. Let me just hang on. Let me just copy that. copy that. Translated to English is Neon Elic, and then if I go down here it says listings for Neon Elic storage. I will investigate this later. Max Killer V2 Gaming, Biscuit 1101, Todd Howard is our Lord and Savior, Forbidden West Remastered, Pope Raphael the Racking, Jessica Shepard, Riki Spiral, Riki Tiki Tabby, Muskie, as stupid as humanly possible for the next read, Karumi the Steel Angel, Maya Hipster, Doofus, Sergeant Jason Bond, Varen von Vaderholm, Cyrus, forgot to change the name, now I can't afford to fix it, Utex 940, wait, Joe, improv this name too, there's Mustard on my desk. You tell me to improv things, and it's just gonna be the first thing I think of. The first Doofus for Creed Warrior, Maxichev, the Herman's Vid, Curse is Finally Broken, Chap, Totally Insane, Vendetta Autry, Black Cobra, and leader of the Doomslayer cult. Knight of Cypher, Reborn Me with the fan art, ML04. I own 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray, so what the fan art, Switch 2 is more of a scan than PS5 Pro. Wolf, Nightstick, Rider, Pig Venus, Kev Dog 1992, Steve Went Studios, Film Kraken, Ohm Gaming, Tariq Brown, Tom Thorn. Thornscade, not Tomscade, Thornscade, Magnetic, Severin Evans, Mr. Spawning 03, Escalator, Freaking Wine Mix, Pow Pow, Wide Trouble, Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan from Serbia, steals money from Joe from Seattle, Gob Gobson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinner, Grimsy, Polska Guram, Hangman for Hire, Eldon the Noble, Frost Crystal, Jimmy Chops by Genesis, Ian in Action, Poppy Fingers 97, Mega Key, Krishka, the Scuffy Skull, Ghost Ho, Remember to Tell Nintendo, Lower Your Prices, the Judge 06, Fast Grow, Femtanga, Raptor 10, The Amazing Blight Man, Blue Hook, Willie JJ, Shino Laxon, Don't Show Your Feet, Joe, Don't Be a Pussy, Jody Breeze, Smitty, Worker, Jaegerman, Jansen, Max Little, Massimo, McIver, Devin Garcia, JJ Kibikins, Ate My Kibikins, wait, JJ Dusty, Ate My Kibikins, fuck, I American Idiot, Rebel Blood 80, Antoine Horton, Oracle, Harmon Smith's hairline, that's scary, oh no, it's Justin Ren, Rui Tooney Wayne, Mechanical Resonance, Extreme the Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, my name is Mud, Joe Taku, The Chemical Joe, My Chemical Joe-Mance, Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down, Winky Face, Wannabe, Hobo, Jidge, Westervilla 310 Char, Rob C, Chicken Jockey Veg, The Groovy Banana, Curtin Allen Spack, The Scrum Master, How Do You Cope When You're Popeless and Jopeless? Oh my gosh. Dude, I can't right now. You guys are too much right now. I can't right now. Okay, toodles.